Hello everyone, very good evening to all of you. Am I clearly visible audible? Let me confirm. If I'm clearly visible audible, I will start the class. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for confirmation, Vivek. Thank you so much. So I welcome you all for today's session. I welcome this batch, the third Prof Buster 1.0, in which we are going to cover the four subjects of third Prof, that is community medicine, ENT, opthal, and forensic medicine in a unique manner, right? So today's subject is community medicine, and today we are going to start the most awaited topic of community medicine, that is communicable disease. I don't know why most of the students find this topic difficult. Actually, the topic is not difficult. I'm going to teach you this topic, communicable disease, in a unique way in the form of the master charts. First, before I start, you tell me how many of you have studied microbiology from me last year? I mean, whenever you were in second prof, many students have studied microbiology from me. Anyone from you? I don't know whether you are new students or you have studied microbiology from me. So if you have studied microbiology from me, you may be knowing how I teach the entire microbiology. I have compacted the entire microbiology in the form of the master charts in comparative tables. First, we see the details of organism in every aspect, and then we compact that detail in the form of a column under a fixed set of heading. The same we are going to do here in communicable disease. Okay, in communicable disease, the only difference from microbiology portion over here will be the preventive portion. What I'm teaching you, what is my subject here? My subject is not microbiology here, by the way. I'm teaching you community medicine, or you can say preventive medicine. So here the role of prevention is much more. Okay, so rather than in microbiology, the same organisms were there, but there now you have to focus on the lab diagnosis of each of them. Here we won't have to discuss the lab diagnosis. We have to see the preventive portion of the same organism. So let's see, in the next few minutes, you will understand my way of teaching you communicable disease. And it will be super interesting, super retainable. Okay, without wasting any further time, let me share my screen with you and start the session. I guess you can see the screen. Yes? Can you see the screen? Chalo. So let's start it. As I told you, in this batch, the third Prof Buster 1.0, we are going to cover all four subjects with 100% syllabus completion in the next 4 months. Right? Today's subject is community medicine, preventive medicine. And in this subject, we are starting the most awaited topic. Many students demanded to start this topic early. So let's start communicable disease. I agree. The topic is extensive. I mean, it's very big in size, it's lengthy, but it's not at all difficult. If you have read microbiology now, this topic is good for nothing. Okay, so let's start it. We will revise it. I mean, we will complete it very fast. So let's start communicable disease. As today is the first day, I will complete entire communicable disease in 5 episodes. Okay, so today is episode 1. Today is episode 1 out of 5. Tomorrow will be episode 2. Okay, and after maybe in the next 15 days, I will schedule episode 3, 4, 5. We will complete entire communicable disease. Okay, so as today is the first episode of communicable disease, first, in the first 10 minutes, you will have an orientation how I am going to teach you this entire communicable disease in the 5 episodes. You have to understand my pattern. As many students are new, they have not studied from me before, so they don't know my pattern. They don't understand me. So first you have to understand my pattern, how I am going to teach you all 50 diseases. I will teach you exactly 50 diseases. Make a count of it. Out of the 50, today we will complete 6 or 7 out of that. So in every episode, we will complete 7, 8 diseases, somewhat like that. And some diseases are small. So in one episode, we can complete 10 diseases also. So nearly 5 or 6 episodes, we are going to complete it. Okay, as today is the first episode, first we will see an orientation. We will understand the pattern of communicable diseases, how I am going to teach you. Okay, so let's start it. Before I start the topic communicable disease, why don't you look around? Look around yourself. Look around yourself. Look around yourself. Every breath you take, okay, every surface you touch, you are interacting with trillions of microorganisms every moment, every second of your life, every moment of your life. You are interacting with trillions of microorganisms every second, every moment. Okay, now the point is that some of them are absolutely harmless and some of them are very deadly, can kill a person. Now, being a future doctor, your job is to differentiate them. Which of them are harmless and which of them are deadly, and how people can be prevented from that. Currently, I am teaching you preventive medicine. So focus on prevention. I am not teaching you internal medicine right now. So my focus is not treatment. Okay, treatment will be focused once the person have that infection. Okay, that is internal medicine. Currently, my focus is on prevention because I am teaching you preventive medicine, right? Now, initially, okay, eras before, wars are fought with the help of guns and missiles. But nowadays, in the recent eras, the deadliest wars are fought with the microorganisms, viruses, bacteria, and parasites. And today, we are going to begin understanding this battlefield because I am starting the topic communicable diseases today, in which I will teach you the bacteria, the viruses, the parasites, and funguses which are communicable from one person to another. Right? So appreciate this shift. And we are going to start a new battlefield today. Right? Yes or not? Now, a virus, if it is emerging in a village, okay, it requires only few hours to reach the entire world and cause the pandemic. We have seen that recently in the COVID. That's the world we are practicing right now. That is the world, right or wrong? So in few hours, the disease can spread from a corner to the entire world. I am teaching you communicable disease. So first you understand the meaning of communicable and how deadly it can be. You have to understand that before I start the details of each and every disease. Okay, so you have to understand the meaning of the communicable disease, how deadly they can become. We have all experienced the COVID now in 2019. We have experienced the pandemic in 2020. We have experienced the lockdown very recently. So you all have this experience, what I'm talking about. Okay, so communicable disease don't need any passport to cross the countries. Okay, only thing, doctors needs the preparedness. Diseases, viruses don't need passports. Doctors needs preparedness. So that preparedness that we will get in the chapter communicable disease. So communicable disease are not just exam topic, although they are very important exam topics. From your entire syllabus of community medicine, I think 30% of the chunk is made by this portion. That is communicable disease. It's a big chunk. Okay, but they are although very important from exam, but don't read them only for exam point of view. My point is that once you will start practicing, whatever branch you are choosing for your specialization and super specialization, you start practicing. So these communicable disease will decide whether your patient need ICU admission or public health emergency or life can be saved or not. So this topic is really very important. So in the next few weeks, you will learn the science that saves million, not treat million. I'm saying you are studying a science that saves millions of lives. not treating. I am focusing on preventing the lives. I am focusing on saving the lives. Okay, got it. Now, the last thing, imagine a patient enters in a emergency OPD with fever, rash, and severe hypertension. What's the diagnosis? What's the diagnosis? The clock is ticking. Fast. Be fast. The clock is ticking. What's the diagnosis? Okay, let me give you the option. Is it dengue? Is it meningococcemia? Or is it simply sepsis? What's that? Okay, you will understand gradually further once I will start the chapter. So your diagnosis is going to decide whether the patient walks out or doesn't. So your diagnosis is very important for treating the patient and understanding the disease. So welcome to the world of communicable disease. So with this inauguration and introduction, I would like to start the chapter communicable disease. Can I start? Chalo. So let's start communicable disease. So this was the inauguration, this was the introduction of the new topic, and let's start it. Are you people there? Can we start? Can we start? Chalo. Chalo, let's start it. Let's start it. Okay, I will come on the diagnosis of the same. Wait. Let's start it. So let's start communicable disease. Before I jump from one disease to another, to third, to fourth, you must know the definition and classification of communicable disease. So I would like to tell you two things before I start organism, and before I start you to take out your notebook and start master charts with me. I would like to tell you two things. Number one, the definition of communicable disease. Number two, the classification of communicable disease. What is the definition? What's the definition of communicable disease? You all understand, but can you define it in a scientific way? What's the definition of communicable disease? The definition is communicable disease are illness. They are diseases, they are illness, which are caused by infectious organisms that can be transmitted. The biggest work to be marked here is transmitted. The diseases that can be transmitted from one person to another are communicable. The diseases which can be transmitted, highlight the word transmitted. The diseases that can be transmitted from one organism to another are communicable. After communicable, I will teach you the next chapter, non-communicable disease. They are also diseases. They are also illness, but they are not transmitted from one person to another, like cancer, like blindness, like diabetes, like hypertension. If anyone is having, the person cannot transmit to other. Those are non-communicable disease, my next chapter. Okay, currently I am teaching you communicable diseases. So these are the diseases which are transmitted. Highlight the word transmitted. Either from one person to another, or it is not necessary they are humans. They can be transmitted from animals to humans also, or simply from the environment to humans also. You can see one person is having some microorganism and it can be transmitted to another by touching the person. Okay, so via any route, the route can be respiratory, the route can be GIT, I mean ingestion, the route can be sexual, the route can be fomites. Okay, route can be anything. But the point is that the diseases are transmitted from one person to another, or from one animal to another, or from environment to human. See, so that is the definition. Everyone give me a thumbs up. Everyone? Yes. Human to animal will also be communicable, Kanu, but that I will not teach you because that will be in the syllabus of veterinary doctor. Okay, human to animal. So disease will occur to animal. So animal treatment or prevention portion will be in the veterinary medicine. Okay, but yeah, animal to human. Yeah, it will come in communicable. You are not wrong. Definition wise, it's okay. But here we will not cover those diseases. You are getting my point? Chalo. So that is the definition. Understand the definition, and here the biggest word in the definition is transmitted. So any disease which is transmitted from one human to another human, from animal to human, or from environment to human is communicable disease via any route. The route can be any. I told you multiple routes via any route. So this is the definition of communicable disease. If you all understood the definition, now in the definition you focus on one thing. You focus on one thing in the definition. Everyone understood the definition. Now you focus on one thing in the definition. In the definition, I talked about infectious organisms. What is transmitting from one person to another? What is transmitting from one person to another? What's that? Say, ma'am, it's an infectious organism. Now you all have studied microbiology. I think any one of you who is not aware of the subject microbiology, I don't think anyone. Everyone has studied the subject microbiology. So if you have studied the subject microbiology, tell me what are these infectious agents that is getting transmitted from one person to another. These are microorganisms, right? These are microorganisms, right? Which are transmitting from one person to another via any route. So how many types of microorganisms exist in the world? Yes, Madhav, there are 4 types. So I am interested in the infectious organism. Before I start giving you the classification and the details of one by one, you have to understand the 4 microorganisms. Although you have already studied them in microbiology, but some of you may have forgotten. Okay, so it's necessary to revise. So there are 4 types of microorganisms: bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungus. There are 4 types of microorganisms. Okay, listen, people, listen. I will teach you 50 communicable disease. Make a count. You have to make a count. Total 50 in your syllabus. Okay, communicable diseases, and we will compare them in the form of master charts. Okay, 50, all 50. You can count, total 50 columns will be there. Okay, we will make them different master chart: the respiratory diseases, the intestinal diseases, the surface diseases, the zoonosis, like that. We will make different categories, but total 50 in your syllabus. We will study all of them, but some of them are bacterial in origin, some of them are viral in origin, some of them are parasitic in origin, and some of them are fungal in origin. Because these 50, some of them are caused by bacteria, virus, some are fungus, some are caused by parasite. So before I start the details of these 50, you must revise. It's necessary to revise the classification of bacteria, virus, parasite, fungus. Now you may be thinking, ma'am, it's not in the syllabus of community medicine. It's microbiology. I totally agree. But the subjects are integrated, people. Okay, if I start directly jumping on the organism like most of the platforms do, okay, communicable disease, start with smallpox. And you don't have orientation, smallpox is caused by a virus or a bacteria or a parasite or a fungus, which category it's belong. So first thing, just revise the classification of these. Okay, just it will take 2 to 3 minutes, but we will revise the classification of these so you have a better understanding of the 50 diseases I'm going to teach you one by one. Got it? So let's see the classification quickly, although nobody is going to ask you these classification in PSM. The classifications are important in microbiology, not in PSM. But just for the sake of revision and better understanding, you have to revise them. Okay, so one by one we will see. Bacteria are classified based on the gram staining. Based on the shape and gram staining. Based on the shape, there are 2 types of bacteria. The spherical one are cocci and the elongated one are bacilli. Based on gram staining, there are 2 types. The violet one are gram positive, the red one are gram negative. Let's combine the two. Shape के basis पे 2, okay, and gram staining के basis पे 2. Just compile the two. So there are 4 type of microorganisms: gram positive cocci, gram positive bacilli, gram negative cocci, gram negative bacilli. You got it? So there are 4 type of bacteria. Everyone knows gram positive cocci, gram negative cocci, gram positive bacilli, gram negative bacilli. I guess everyone knows. So learn the bacteria under each category. I'm not reading it, people, but this is your homework. Whenever I will teach you the 50 type of communicable disease, I will show you these charts, and I assume you know that which organism belongs to which category. Okay, so if I'm teaching you diphtheria, today I will teach you diphtheria. So you must know diphtheria is caused by Corynebacterium diphtheria. It's a bacteria. So is it gram positive cocci, gram negative cocci, gram positive bacilli, or gram negative bacilli? I assume you know that. I assume. If you don't know, please revise it here. I'm not reading it. You have to read it by yourself. Okay, it will be given in the notes. So gram positive cocci, how many bacteria are there, you see? Gram negative cocci, how many bacteria are there, you see? Gram positive bacilli, how many bacteria are there, you see? And gram negative bacilli, how many bacteria are there, you see? So total bacteria are divided in 4 categories. They are known as GPC, gram positive cocci, GNC, gram negative cocci, GPB, gram positive bacilli, and GNB, gram negative bacilli. And apart from that, miscellaneous is there. Okay, so you can see this is the 4 category. I'm not reading the organism. It will take time. Okay, this is just for sake of revision. Now coming on classification of viruses. Classification of bacteria is done. It is based on gram staining and shape. Gram staining and shape. Okay, what is the basis of classification of viruses? The basis of classification of virus is nucleic acid. They all have nucleic acid, but nucleic acid is DNA or RNA, never both. They have either DNA, not RNA, or RNA, not DNA. They are mutually exclusive, and that's the basis of classification. So we divide viruses in 2 categories: DNA virus, RNA virus. There are 6 family of DNA virus and 14 family of RNA virus, total 20 families of virus at the tip of your tongue. If you want to attend my 5 episodes of communicable disease and you want to make best use of it, people, so please learn these 4 classifications. The 4 classification. the classification of bacteria, virus, fungus, and parasite. Rather, my advice, take 4 paper, okay, on which you draw the classification, or you take printout, whatever your choice. During these 5 episodes, it should be in your hand. So whenever I start any disease, I will teach you 50 diseases as I committed you. So whenever I start any disease, you must be knowing that particular disease is caused by bacteria or virus or fungus or parasite, and which exactly category the organism belongs to. So that is the foremost thing in my class you should know. If you don't have even orientation that particular organism bhai hai kya, bacteria, virus, there is no use of seeing its detail. You are getting my point? So you see, these are the viruses. We divide viruses in 2 categories: DNA virus, RNA virus. DNA virus, 6 family. RNA virus, 14 family. You know the mnemonic. The 6 families of DNA virus is HHAPPP. And the 14 families of RNA virus is ABCD, FOR, TP. You can see 2C, 2F, 2P, and 3R. I'm not reading the full form, people. In microbiology, the old students are knowing. I have read it more than 100 times. I'm not reading it just for the sake of revision. You see by yourself. Appreciate, HHAPPP. Appreciate, ABCD, FOR, TP. Appreciated. So appreciate, these are the family. Under each family, multiple members are there. Multiple, you should know that. Okay, so that is the classification of viruses. Some of them are enveloped, some of them are non-enveloped. Okay, now coming on classification of parasites, the third thing. We have seen classification of bacteria, classification of virus, classification of bacteria based on gram staining, classification of virus based on nucleic acid, DNA or RNA, classification of parasite. The third is classification of parasite. Classification of parasite based on cellularity, whether they are unicellular or multicellular. If they are unicellular, made up of one cell, they are known as protozoa. If they are multicellular, made up of multiple cells, they are giant structures, they are known as metazoa or helminth. Okay, protozoa, metazoa. Metazoa also known as helminth. Protozoa don't have any other name. Protozoa bhai protozoa. But metazoa also known as helminth. Now we further divide protozoa into 3 categories, metazoa into 3 categories. Total 6 categories. I guess you know I'm not reading it. So the 3 categories of protozoa, the 3 categories of metazoa. What are the 3 categories of protozoa? What are the 3 categories of protozoa? Amoeba, flagellates, sporozoans. What are the 3 categories of metazoa? Cystode, trematode, nematode. People, please learn all these parasites. And last, the classification of fungus. So classification of bacteria based on gram stain, classification of virus based on nucleic acid, classification of parasite based on cellularity, unicellular or multicellular, classification of fungus based on pathogenesis, which disease they are causing. So we divide the fungal diseases under 5 categories. The diseases which are superficial in nature, superficial, only keratin layer is involved, they are known as superficial mycosis. Just below the superficial skin, if they involve the subcutaneous tissue, they are known as subcutaneous mycosis. If they enter in blood and involve multiple organs, so they are known as systemic mycosis. So superficial, after superficial it's subcutaneous, and then systemic, There are certain fungal disease which do not involve healthy human. Okay, they involve only immunocompromised people like AIDS, chemotherapy. Okay, so they are known as opportunistic mycosis. And finally, there are some fungus who do not cause disease in human. Yes, fungus do not cause disease. The toxin secreted by the fungus cause the disease. That is mycotoxicosis. So we divide them in 5 categories: superficial mycosis, subcutaneous mycosis, systemic mycosis, opportunistic mycosis, mycotoxicosis. People, read it. I'm not reading it. People, what I taught you, I have not yet started my chapter communicable disease. I have given you an orientation how to study. No one will teach you with this method. My methods of teaching are very unique. I integrate the multiple subjects and teach you so that you always have a broad looking. You don't like narrow कुएं के मेंढक जैसे नहीं सोचना है. Okay, you have already studied microbiology. Now integrate microbiology with community medicine of PS, communicable disease of community medicine. That will be the best way you can revise both the subjects. You are getting, and it will be very easy for you in the form of the master charts. You are getting my point. So I will start the 50 communicable disease right now. Before that, what we have done till now, we have studied the classification of bacteria, classification of viruses, classification of parasite, and classification of fungus. And I assume it is at the tip of your tongue. If you have not learned it, it is not by heart to you. You are not allowed to continue the session. Please, I'm very strict in my protocols. So first you learn it. Okay, don't take it seriously. Even if it is not learned by you, take the printout or keep it handy so that if I start any organism, it should be ready with you that it is a bacteria, virus, parasite, or fungus. Okay, so classification of bacteria based on gram staining. Classification of virus based on nucleic acid, DNA or RNA. Classification of parasite based on cellularity, unicellular or protozoa, multicellular or metazoa or helminth. And classification of fungus based on the pathogenesis, superficial, subcutaneous, systemic, mycotoxicosis, opportunistic mycosis, like that. Now, if you know all these organisms, if you count them, total they are 150. If you count them, so these are the fungus, count how many fungus, there are 18 fungus. If you count how many parasites are there are nearly 47 parasites. Likewise, if you count all the viruses, likewise, if you count all the bacteria, there are 150 organisms. Don't worry, don't worry. 150 is the count we have to study in microbiology. This is not microbiology, this is community medicine. Out of 150, we have to study only 50. Okay, so those 50 which are in our syllabus in community medicine, we will study them focusing on their preventive portion because I am teaching you preventive medicine. How many of you got it? So till now, I taught you the definition of communicable disease. What's the definition of communicable disease? Communicable diseases are diseases. They are diseases. Obviously, they are diseases. Communicable disease, which are transmitted, from where to where? Either from human to human or animal to human or environment to human via any mode. And the biggest thing, they are caused by microorganisms. So we have seen there are 4 types of microorganisms: bacteria, virus, fungus, and parasite. And I assume you know their classification. Yes, absolutely right. Till now, we have read only this. Okay, this was just for the sake of revision. This is not going to be asked in community medicine. Okay, got it? Nobody is going to ask you this. But this was for your understanding. Everyone got it? Now, from here we start our chapter, communicable disease. Tell me the classification of communicable disease. Who will tell me the classification? We divide communicable disease in 5 portions. Five different topics or headings or portions. The 5 different broad categories of communicable disease: respiratory disease, intestinal disease, arthropod-borne disease, zoonosis, which are caused by animal to human, okay, and surface infection. Okay, now one by one we will take it. We will finish the classification. Let's take the first category, respiratory. In respiratory, I'm going to teach you 12 diseases. We will start with respiratory today only. Out of 12, I will try to cover 5, 6 today. Okay, maybe 50% today, 50% tomorrow. Today and tomorrow, we will complete the respiratory infection. Okay, in episode 1 and 2. So, respiratory infection. How many? 12. So, you can see these all I am going to teach you in the respiratory infection. You can see these all. Okay, smallpox, chickenpox, measles, rubella, mumps, influenza, COVID. My target to cover these today. Okay, diphtheria, whooping cough, meningococcal meningitis, TB. These are tomorrow. And ARI. ARI, acute respiratory infection, which is caused by multiple organisms. So, these are respiratory infection. Okay, after that, so 12 we have to study here. Make a count. Total will be 50. The second is intestinal infection. Okay, I will teach you intestinal. Here the root is respiratory. Whether it's a bacteria, virus, fungus, or parasite, it enters via respiratory route. In the respiratory one. Now we will come on intestinal. They enter via ingestion, eating. Ingestion. It's a bacteria, virus, parasite, or fungus, but it enters via ingestion. So 10 diseases I will teach you here. I will teach you polio, hepatitis, acute diarrheal disease, cholera, typhoid, amoebiasis, escheriasis, hookworm, dracunculosis, and food poisoning. We will see these 10 over here. Okay, then we will come on arthropod-borne disease. Here I will teach you only 4. Okay, which are vector-borne. So dengue, malaria, lymphatic filariasis, and Zika. They caused by mosquitoes. Okay, the various species of mosquitoes I will tell you when I will teach you the detail. So here the vector will be mosquito. I will teach you. Okay, so 4 important arthropod-borne diseases. So 12 in respiratory, 10 in intestinal, 4 in arthropod. Okay, the next is zoonosis, the biggest section. It will require 2 episodes. So I will teach you 18 zoonoses. Zoonoses are the diseases which are acquired in human from animals. They are coming in human via animals. So rabies. Okay, we divide them in further 18 into 4 categories: viral, bacterial, Viral, bacterial में ही rickettsial are a type of bacteria only, and parasitic. So viral में 5, rabies, yellow fever, Nipah virus, Japanese encephalitis and KFT. Okay, bacterial में भी 5, chikungunya, brucellosis, leptospira, plague and salmonellosis. Rickettsial में you know the various rickettsial. Okay, and parasitic you can see teniasis, hereditary disease and leishmaniasis. So these 18 I will teach you, dividing them in 4 categories. The finally last episode, maybe episode number 5 or 6, we will see today's first episode. We will see surface infection, in which I will teach you 6 surface infection. Which 6 surface infection? They occur via touching or STDs. In surface infection, we will see via direct contact. You can say direct contact. That's why surface, or via sex, sexual intercourse. So trachoma, tetanus, leprosy, all STDs will come here. We will see approach to STDs, yaws and AIDS. So these diseases will come here. So total, make a count, 50. And by the way, I am following the standard textbook PARC over here. In PARC, 50 diseases are given. That's why I'm covering all 50. You can match. Okay. Each and every disease is given there. The following standard textbook for the Indian universities. Many students are abroad here, I know. But it's a book which is followed in most of the Indian universities. So I'm following that. And all 50 diseases, without skipping anyone, I'm going to cover. So how was this inauguration? How was the starting? You have learned this classification. So let's start the countdown of 50 communicable disease. Give me a thumbs up, everyone who's live. And you got the orientation, what we are going to do the next. Everyone got it? Everyone, come on, people, come on. Say something. Give a gesture that you got it. So this is the classification. You can see it here. And make a count. We are going to complete all these diseases one by one. So today I am starting with the first portion of it. Can I start with the first portion? Let's start the first portion of it, respiratory infections. Let's start it, respiratory infection. So respiratory infection, as I told you, we have to study 12. The first and foremost thing, you should have a broader classification. Okay, so have a broad classification, although nobody is going to ask you this classification, but at least for your understanding, you should know which disease is coming in which category. Okay, if I start randomly all these 50 diseases one by one in a boring manner, okay, you will say, ma'am, कब एक disease खत्म होती है, कब नहीं चालू होती है, सब एक जैसी, कुछ पता नहीं चलता. If you have a classification that we have to study them in 5 categories, these are respiratory, these are intestinal, and then each of them will be divided in bacterial, viral, fungal, parasitic. So you always have a overview that what we are studying. Never lose your overview, broader view that what we are studying. Okay, got it? Obviously, Dhanush, communicable disease in community medicine is actually microbiology. Only difference in microbiology, when I teach the disease, I focus on lab diagnosis. Because in microbiology, lab diagnosis and clinical feature is most important. Here, we will not focus on lab diagnosis. Here, basically, we focus on prevention, the vaccines of them, if vaccines are available. So prevention portion is more important here. So that subject by subjects, we are differing. But the causative agent, the pathogenesis, the life cycle, that's not going to alter, whether it's microbiology or whether it's community medicine. So basically, it will be a sort of revision, partly, and partly the preventive portion will be new for you, or in detail for you. Got my point? Chalo. So let's start respiratory infection. Respiratory infection, as I told you, I want to teach you 12. Which 12? Which 12 respiratory infection? You can see. So most of them have symptoms of coughing, sneezing, dyspnea, all these. So there are 12 infection I am going to teach you one by one. Okay, you can see. Okay. So you can see smallpox, chickenpox, measles, rubella, mumps, influenza, COVID. These all are viral in origin. These all are viral in origin. Okay. And these 4 are bacterial in origin. You can see these 4 are bacterial in origin. Diphtheria, whooping cough, meningococcal meningitis and TB. These are bacterial in origin. The last one, it is acute respiratory infection. It is caused by viruses as well as bacteria. So that will be a syndrome that I will take in the end. That will be a syndrome that will be taken in the end. Obviously, epidemiology, that's what I'm covering now, Vivek, here. Epidemiology of communicable disease we are covering here. Okay. So you can see here, these are the respiratory infection. Total 12 we have to see. Out of the 12, total 11 we have to see. The 12th one is the syndrome. So we have to see total 11 respiratory tract infection. Okay. So we have to see 7 of them are viruses, 4 of them are bacteria, and total is 11. You can see total 11. The 12th one is the syndrome that will be taken separately in the end. Acute respiratory infection, it is known as ARI. It is known as ARI. Got my point? So total 11 organisms we have to cover. Out of the 11 organisms, 7 are viruses, 4 are bacteria. I will cover 11 organisms in just 4 pages. Yes, in just 4 pages. In the end, okay, it will be 300 pages of my PPT, but in the end, I will compact the 300 pages in 4 pages. And that's what I call the master charts. What do you mean by master charts over here? So see the master chart of viruses. I will make 2 master chart of viruses and 1 of bacteria. The 2 master charts of, you can see viral infections of respiratory tract. I will start with smallpox, then I will come on chickenpox, then I will come on measles, then I will come on rubella. Okay, under a fixed set of heading. You can see under a fixed set of heading, here lab diagnosis is only for enumeration. I will not give the detail. I will much focus on prevention of each of them. And in your exam in community medicine, if you are preparing for your university exams of community medicine, basically, so you have to focus on the prevention of each of them. Because what is the subject? Preventive medicine. Community medicine is preventive medicine. So basically you have to focus on this portion in much detail, and rest other you should know. Okay, and if you are preparing for your MCQs for NEET and again, so the MCQ can be from any portion. Got my point? So under a fixed set of heading, we will cover 7 viruses. What are the 7 viruses? Smallpox, chickenpox, measles, rubella, mumps, influenza, COVID. So these are the 7 viruses. So what you are waiting for? People, take out your notebook, take out your pen and start making with me right now. These will be not provided to you separately. Okay, make it very clear. Last year there was much confusion. I asked you to make the master chart during the class. That's what I mean by the master chart. You don't assume that the pre-filled version will be provided to you. I'm giving you an overview that how to make it. I will fill it with you during the class only. But pre-filled version I will not give you, the ready-made version. Okay, got it. So that is the 7 viruses. And what about the 4 bacteria? The 4 bacteria, one is diphtheria, one is whooping cough, one is meningococcal meningitis, one is TB. So total 7 viruses and 4 bacteria. 11 organisms we will see the respiratory infection. I'm following the sequence also of the park and all the organisms of the park. Okay, so we have to follow one standard textbook because various standards, I have followed 6-7 textbooks, and in various textbooks, you know, the classification was different, the sequence is different, the number of organisms covered is different. So we have to follow one for the uniformity. Okay, so I told you which textbooks I am following and giving you the details, sequence and everything from that textbook. Can we start now? Are you people there? Can we start? So let's start it. You have to give me a minute. I will be starting with the very first virus. Let's start with the viruses. Okay, let's start with the viruses. You can see I'm starting with the viruses over here. One by one we will start it. So before I start with the viruses, I want to teach you 7 viruses. Where are my 7 viruses? My 7 viruses. These 7 viruses in total viruses. You can see this is the classification of total viruses. I'm assuming you know that. I'm assuming you know this classification because I have revised you before I start the chapter. So this is total viruses. I'm not interested in all of them. If you count, they are total 36 in number. I'm not interested in all 36. I'm interested in only in 7. Where are my 7 viruses? These 7. So I've highlighted them with blue color. Okay, for example, have a look here. The smallpox is caused by variola. Here is variola. This is smallpox. The chickenpox is caused by varicella zoster. This is varicella zoster. This is chickenpox. The measles is caused by measles. So here is measles. Okay. Rubella is caused by rubella. So here is rubella. Mumps is caused by mumps virus. Here is mumps. Influenza is caused by influenza. So here is influenza. And COVID is caused by COVID. So have I marked COVID here? I have not marked COVID here. Okay. So COVID virus. I have not marked COVID here. So corona. It will come here in coronavirus. So you can see these are the 7 viruses. I am interested. Now you should know which of them is DNA. ये बताने की बात नहीं है. You can see 2 of them are DNA. And you can see the remaining 5 of them are RNA. One by one we will take it. Got it? So let's start with the first virus. What I'm teaching you the topic communicable diseases in PSM. We started. I will teach you this topic under 5 headings. Respiratory, intestinal, arthropod-borne, zoonosis and surface. I started the very first portion today, respiratory infection. In the respiratory infection, I will teach you total 11 organisms, 7 viruses, 4 bacteria. If you total them, there are 11. One by one, we will see them in the form of the master chart. The master chart is separate for viruses. It is separate for bacteria. The headings are separate, the fixed headings. Let's start with the first virus, smallpox. So mark it here. And if you wish, my advice, my humble advice to all of you, take out your notebook, take out your pen and start filling it with me. That will be the best thing you can do it today. Okay, and you will regret your decision if you are not doing it. Okay, and when your exam will approach, you will remember one day madam said कि उस दिन बना लो, काश उस दिन बनाए होते, आज इतने पेज नहीं पढ़ने पड़ते. So you will revise the entire chapter in just 4 pages, the entire respiratory tract infection. If you make the notes, it will be 50 pages, and you can compact your 50 pages in just 4 pages without losing any relevant important information. Mind my words. That's the art. That's the art you have to learn from me, making master chart. Okay, chalo. So let's start with the very first communicable disease today. It's smallpox. Let's inaugurate. Under these headings, we have to study it. You have to give me a minute. I need water to drink. After that, we will start. We will run. Okay, chalo. Let's start with the very first disease, smallpox. Okay, so introduction. Let's start smallpox. Let's start introduction. First, these are the name of the diseases. People, one more thing you understand. These are not name of organisms. These are the name of diseases. These are the name of disease. ये बीमारी का नाम है, बीमारी. These are the name of diseases. You have to tell me in the introduction which organism is causing it. Smallpox is caused by which organism? Name that. It's variola. It's a virus. Chickenpox is caused by which organism? Varicella zoster. Again, it's a virus. Measles is caused by measles virus. Rubella is caused by rubella virus. Mumps is caused by mumps virus. Influenza is caused by influenza virus. COVID is caused by coronavirus. These all are viruses. Diphtheria is caused by Corynebacterium diphtheria, which is a bacteria. Whooping cough is caused by Bordetella pertussis, which is a bacteria. Meningococcal meningitis is caused by Neisseria meningitis, which is a bacteria. And TB is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which is a bacteria. So first thing, you have to learn their causative organism. And their causative organism is a bacteria or virus that you should know. You are getting my point. So let's start with the very first, smallpox. Can I start with smallpox? Smallpox. Smallpox is caused by variola, which is the virus. If it is a virus, you tell me where it's belong. These are the complete viruses, total 37 virus. Where is variola? You just look for it, search for it. Where is variola? I guess here is the variola. Here is the variola. So name its family. It is belonging to Pox viridae. It is belonging to Pox viridae, and it's a type of DNA virus. So whenever you tell me the causative agent, you first tell me, is it a bacteria or virus? So it's a virus. The name of the virus is variola, and its family is Pox viridae, and you should write it. It's a DNA virus. Not only DNA virus, it is the largest DNA virus. Among all DNA virus, this is the grandfather. If you have attended my microbiology, you understand who is grandfather. It is the largest. Not only largest, among all viruses, this is the largest. So among the DNA also, this is the largest. Among the overall also, this is the largest. इतना बड़ा है ये कि it can be seen under light microscope. We don't, normally viruses are seen under electron microscope, but this is the largest virus, so we don't need electron microscope to see it. We can see it under light microscope. Okay, tell me morphology. So tell me the family. The family is Pox viridae. I told you, variola. The family is Pox viridae. The family is Pox viridae. Its shape is brick shape. Appreciate. The shape is brick shape, and it is having a dumbbell core. Dumbbell. It is having a double-stranded DNA inside it. It is having double-stranded DNA inside it. It is enveloped, and it is brick shape. It is having a dumbbell core. Okay, it is having a dumbbell shape core. Dumbbell shape core. Okay, so that is the morphology. Classification, if you want to see these all are pox viruses, we have to focus only on variola. We don't have to study others, but we have to study only one. The first one, variola. Okay, only 3 of the pox viruses cause disease in human. Variola, vaccinia, and molluscum contagiosum. Nowadays, we got the disease by monkeypox also. Recently, in the Kerala, outbreaks were there. But others do not cause disease in human. They cause disease in animal. So we have to focus only on the one which causes disease in human. So let's start with the first one, variola. Variola. Okay, only these 3 cause disease in human. So let's start with variola. What is the route? Obviously respiratory. I am teaching you the 11 organisms which are spread by respiratory route. So route is respiratory. Tell me the pathogenesis. Virus enters via respiratory route. After going from respiratory route, the virus goes to the lungs. Okay, after entering via respiratory route, the virus goes to the lungs. Okay, from the lungs, the virus goes to the blood. From the lungs, virus goes to the blood. It is known as viremia. When the virus goes to the blood, it is known as viremia. Once it goes to the blood, after blood, first organ it hit is skin. It goes to dermal tissue. and cause small pox everywhere. See, small. These are known as lesions, or these are known as pox, small pox or small lesions everywhere. After involving skin, it goes to all internal organs. All internal, head to toe, all organs are involved, and all organs have same pox like that. So that is the pathogenesis. Instead of learning, see it in the diagram. So what is just happening? First, the human is inhaling the virus like that. So after inhalation, it goes to the respiratory tract. From respiratory tract, it goes to the lymphatic. From there, it goes to the blood. Blood mate is known as viremia. After that, it goes to dermal tissue. And after that, it goes to all internal organ. And in dermal tissue as well as internal organ, it produces pox. Pox. Pox are the lesions. These lesions are known as pox. These all lesions are known as pox. You are getting it? So that is the pathogenesis. Coming on clinical features, 2 stages. The name of the disease is smallpox. That's what I'm teaching you. It is having 2 stages. The smallpox disease. Incubation period you learn here. I will give you a list of incubation period of all 50 diseases at one page. So you have to revise it. I know it's difficult. Say, ma'am, all 50 diseases. But at least the one which are important from exam point of view and they are repeatedly asked in exam. You have to learn the incubation period for them. So here the incubation period is variable 5 to 17 days. Okay. Now it is having 2 stages. First, the person have flu-like symptom. What do you mean by flu-like symptom? Sardi zukam fever. So person have runny nose, person have headache, fever. That's it. Flu-like. After that, rash. Now the rash is having a peculiarity. I am teaching you smallpox ka rash. Smallpox ka rash start from mouth. It start from mouth and then goes to the periphery. Then it goes to the periphery everywhere. So if I consider mouth as center, it is away from the center. So it is starting at the center, the rash is starting at the center and then going away from the center, away from the center. Away from the center is known as centrifugal. Centrifugal means away from the center. So rash is centrifugal in nature. The rash is centrifugal in nature. The rash is centrifugal. It is starting from the mouth and going away from the mouth. Now in rash, all of them are first papule, then macule, then pustule, then vesicle. I mean, they mature synchronously. It is not like that one is papule, one is pustule, one is vesicle. No. All are papule. They all mature to pustule. They all mature to macule. Then all mature to vesicle. So this rash is known as synchronous rash. Synchronous or monotonous. Synchronous or one stage at a time. So monotonous or synchronous rash. And the rash is centrifugal. The rash is synchronous. The rash is monotonous. You are getting my point. If you rupture one of the vesicle, you will see it's very deep inside. It's very deep inside and it is having multiple compartment, multiloculation inside. It is having multiple compartments. So the rash is having multiloculation inside and it's very deep inside. It's very deep inside. So these are the properties of the rash. Now we have to differentiate the rash of smallpox, what I am teaching you right now, from the rash of the chickenpox. Chickenpox is my next disease. You will say, ma'am, why you are comparing the rash? Because both look same. Both look like this only. Chickenpox also look like same. Smallpox also look like same. Now being a doctor, how you will identify is it smallpox or chickenpox? You are a doctor, of course. You all are doctors. Suppose you are a doctor sitting in your OPD and such a patient is coming to you. Now rash looks same. Now how you say, ma'am, is it smallpox or is it chickenpox? Looking on the rash, can you say, ma'am, what you are saying? Come on, ma'am. You know smallpox is eradicated from the world. So how this patient will come to me? It's eradicated. So if a patient with such a clinical symptom coming to me nowadays, so obviously it's chickenpox. Why I want to differentiate? I agree. I totally agree with you. I know. It is not that I don't know. I know that smallpox is eradicated from the world. I know that. I know chickenpox exists. So if such a patient is coming, probability it's chickenpox only. But smallpox is still present in the laboratories. It is eradicated from the environment, but it is still present in the laboratory. US laboratory, it's still present. What about it is contaminated again in the environment? And someday some patient is presented again. It can happen in the future. You never know the future. In such a biological war era, you never know. Sometimes the leak happened either intentional or from war point of view or accidental. You never know what's going to happen in future. Okay. So maybe because of leak, such patient is coming again. Okay. But whether if it is coming yes or no, it is eradicated in 1980. Suppose before 1980, such a patient is coming. Okay, so the doctors have to differentiate, is it smallpox and chickenpox? Before 1980, both exist. After 1980, smallpox eradicated. Only chickenpox exists. So, being a doctor, you should know how to differentiate the rash. Okay, how to differentiate based on the rash? Can you say is it smallpox or chickenpox? Yes, we can say. First of all, one by one, both of the diseases, smallpox as well as chickenpox, they are caused by viruses. They are caused by virus. Name the virus. Both are viruses. Smallpox, I am teaching you right now. Okay. Chickenpox, I will teach you next. इसके बाद अगला नंबर chickenpox का ही है. Both are caused by virus. This is variola virus. Okay. This is varicella zoster virus. Smallpox is caused by variola. Chickenpox is caused by varicella zoster. The families are different. Variola belongs to pox viridae and varicella zoster belongs to herpes viridae. If you know the classification of virus, these things are fun for you. So both of them are DNA virus. This is a DNA virus. This is a DNA virus. This is variola belonging to pox viridae, which cause smallpox. This is varicella zoster belonging to herpes viridae, which cause chickenpox. Okay, now the point is that here the rash starts from the center and goes to the periphery. That's why it's away from the center. That's why centrifugal. Here the rays start from the periphery and come towards the center. That is towards the center. That is centripetal. So please learn that. Okay. So here the rash is centrifugal. Here the rash is centripetal. Centrifugal means away from center. Centripetal means towards the center. Say, ma'am, how to learn it? I will get confused in the exam. Don't worry. Learn a mnemonic CP for CP. हाँ, चिकन पॉक्स सेंट्रीपिटल. अब कभी नहीं भूलोगे. चिकन पॉक्स centripetal. CP for CP. You will never forget. So you can see here CP. You can see here CP. Okay. Now here rash occur everywhere except axilla. Axilla में rash नहीं होता in smallpox. In smallpox, axilla don't have rash. Every organ have rash except axilla. In chickenpox, the palm and soles don't have rash. The palm and sole don't have rash. Rest all organ including axilla have the rash. Okay, so you have to learn one organ of the spear. Now let me zoom the rash of both of them. I'm coming on that, Vivek. Wait. Let me zoom the rash of both of them. Zoom the rash. You have zoomed. You have zoomed the rash here. You have zoomed the rash here. Have you zoomed the rash at both the places? Yes or no? So this is same smallpox. This is chickenpox. The same rash I have zoomed. I have zoomed it out. Okay. Here all of them are in same stage. All of them are vesicle. So first all of them are papule, then pustule, then macule, then vesicle. It's monotonous or synchronous or non-pleomorphic. Synchronous rash. But here some are papule, some are pustule, some are vesicle, some are scab. So here rash is pleomorphic. In chickenpox it's pleomorphic. In smallpox it's non-pleomorphic, or non-pleomorphic is known as synchronous. Non-pleomorphic is known as synchronous. You are getting it? Non-pleomorphic is known as synchronous. Okay ji. Here now you rupture this one of it. Let me rupture one of this, and you rupture one of this. Here this is mono compartment. Mono compartment yani unilocular, no other compartment. But here inside it multiple small compartments are there. You got it, Vivek? So that is multilocular. Multilocular means if you rupture one of the vesicle, suppose here is the vesicle, we are rupturing it, so we can see it is having multiple compartments, small compartment. So if we aspirate the fluid here in one go, we can aspirate all the fluid. But here we will aspirate the fluid, so one of the compartment fluid will come out. So multiple syringes, multiple injections we have to take the fluid out completely. Here this one is very deep inside, this one is superficial. This is very deep and multi compartment. This is superficial and unicompartment. Now see the last thing here. Everyone have a look. See the last thing over here. Okay, what thing? Here you can see this is rash, nothing around the rash, only rash. But here around the rash I can see the redness. Here around the rash, appreciate the redness. Appreciate it. The image is very clear. I have searched the image. Around the rash, there is redness. So here around the rash, no inflammation. But here around the rash, inflammation is present. Background is having redness. And that's what it is known as dew drops on rose petal. It is looking like dew drops on rose petal. हिंदी में कहते हैं गुलाब की पंखुड़ियों पे ओस की बूंदें. So the rash is looking like dew drop. and the background is red, which is giving the appearance of rose petal. So this simile holds good for chickenpox. But in smallpox, this is not true. For smallpox, this simile is not good. How many of you got it? Now, rather than reading it in a boring table and learning it, I don't do so. I learn in the image. I learn in the image. Now you read it, you know everything. You read it, you cross-check. This is centrifugal, this is centripetal, yes. This is non-pleomorphic, this is pleomorphic, yes. This is deep, this is superficial, yes. This is multilocular, this is unilocular, yes. Here no inflammation, here inflammation present. That is dew drops on rose petal, yes. Okay, here axilla is paired. Okay, here palms and soles are paired. So we know everything about that. And this is how you get many MCQs on this concept. You believe or you don't believe. You get many MCQs over here. How many of you got it? People say. How many of you got it? Huh? So world has eradicated only one disease till date. And the name of this disease is smallpox. It's eradicated from the world. Now you may be thinking, ma'am, if it is eradicated, why you are teaching us? Historical purpose. You must be knowing about the disease which is eradicated from the world. I know these patients will not come to you and probably they don't come in future also. I know the disease is eradicated. You know what I mean by eradication? I taught you in chapter 1 of community medicine. What do you mean by disease control, disease elimination, disease eradication? In disease eradication, the agent is removed from the environment. There is no smallpox virus. Variola virus is removed from the environment completely. It is present only in laboratories. In the environment, it is nowhere present in the entire world. And that's the meaning of eradication. Okay, so world declared free of smallpox on 8th May 1980, the historical day. 8th May 1980. Before you born, before I born. By the way, I am also born after 1980. Okay, so before we all are born, I think the disease is eradicated. So in the era of our parents and grandparents, it was a deadly disease. But when we born, thankfully, before that, we all are born. The disease is eradicated from the world. So you should know the history. You should know the complete history. And that's what the epidemiology, Vivek, that's what the epidemiology. You should know the complete history. So basically, in 1980, finally the world got declared free of smallpox. The world eradicated from the smallpox. It was declared. It was declared. But you know, the complete thing started in 1962. In 1962, the government of India have launched a program. The name of the program is National Smallpox Eradication Program. If you have the grandparents, ask your grandparents if they were aware at that time. So they may tell you that yes, in 1962, after the independence, there was a program. We were having a deadly disease. It was known as Chota Chechak. Chota Chechak at that time in Hindi. They may be aware by this name, smallpox, and it was a very deadly disease at our time. Many people have died because of that. They may be telling you, and government have launched a program. The name of the program is National Smallpox Eradication Program. Okay, in 1962. In 1967, WHO started intensified global smallpox eradication program. So you know, Indian, the national one started before the global. India has taken the initiative before the world have taken the initiative. So India have taken the initiative for eradication program of smallpox in 1962 only. Or India ki dekha dekhi, the complete world, the WHO have taken the initiative program for global eradication in 1967. In 1975, Government of India have started an intensified program. The same program which was launched in 1962, in 1975 it was intensified. Operation Zero Smallpox. Target Zero. Operation Smallpox Target Zero. This was the name of the program. And within months, it was eliminated from India. Not from world. In India, it was eliminated in 1975. In world, it was eliminated in 1980. Okay, so in India, it was eliminated in 1975. The last case in India was in Bihar. Okay, if you want to know the village and district also, it's there. But if you learn Bihar, it's more than sufficient. The last case was on Bihar in 1975. Okay, but after that, one more case came from Bangladesh that is imported. That was not Indian origin. Indian origin, the last was in Bihar. Okay, that is 17th May. Okay, and 1 week after that, on 24th May, it was imported from Bangladesh. The name of the patient is Saiban Bibi. Saiban Bibi, and she came via railway station to the Assam from Bangladesh, and she bring the last case. So last indigenous case is in Bihar. Last imported case in India was from Bangladesh. So this is last indigenous case, if you want to be precise. And this is last imported case, if you want to be precise. So finally, after that, there is no case. There is no case in India. Government observed for 2 years, from 1975 till 1977. No case, no case. In 1977, okay, after 2 years of surveillance, India declared smallpox free country. In 1977, India was declared, not the world. India was declared smallpox free country. Okay, now world. Let's come on the world. World का last case is 1977. India का last case is 1975. World का last case is 1977 in the country Somalia. In the country Somalia. And in 1980, the world is declared free of smallpox. You have to learn the date. 8th May 1980. If you want to learn all dates, very good, very good, very good. If you don't want to learn all, learn one date. The date is 8th May 1980. The historical achievement in the medicine. We have eradicated one disease from the world. Okay, so this is complete epidemiology. Okay, the historical aspect of the smallpox you have to learn. Okay, lab diagnosis not important, but just for the sake of completion for all viral diseases, whatever viral disease in your syllabus, it is electron microscopy, that is direct microscopy, serology and molecular. So we will not go in the detail because it's not microbiology. In microbiology, I have given you much detail, but here we don't have to see the lab diagnosis. But for the sake of completion, if you just want to enumerate in your exam, you do not want to give the detail. In community medicine, you can enumerate like this. So direct microscopy, serology and molecular pathology, like that. Lab diagnosis. Treatment, there is no treatment available. For smallpox, no treatment, only supportive care. If patient have pain, give paracetamol. Much pain, give NSAIDs, like that. Okay, give massage. No treatment, but prevention is there. Which subject I am teaching you, people? Preventive medicine. So focus on prevention of all diseases. You have to focus on prevention. For prevention, vaccine was available. It is not available right now. It is not available, but it was available. Once the smallpox is eradicated from the world, from 1980 onwards, the vaccine is also eliminated by government. Okay, so why government unnecessarily will give the vaccine? No, because there is no agent in the environment. So I am not vaccinated for smallpox because I am born after 1980. I don't know about you, but if anyone who is born after 1980 is not vaccinated, but anyone who is born before 1980, like my parents, my grandparents, they are vaccinated. They are vaccinated for smallpox. So the smallpox vaccine, government has launched the smallpox vaccine, which was a live attenuated vaccine given as a single dose at 1 to 2 year of age. It was there in National Immunization Program at that time. And that's how, with the help of this vaccine, we have eradicated the disease completely. How many of you got it? We are done. People, we are done with variola, smallpox. But there is a close virus vaccine here. There is a close virus vaccine. I told you, no, there are 3 important pox virus. Variola, vaccinia, and molluscum contagiosum. Vaccinia is very close to variola, so just 2 lines for vaccinia, not much detail. What is vaccinia? It's not a natural virus. It's not a natural virus. No, it's an artificial virus. It's an artificial virus. So what do you mean by artificial? Naam mein hi hai, for vaccine. From where we brought this vaccine? From where we brought this vaccine? From vaccinia virus. From vaccinia virus, we have created or synthesized the vaccine of smallpox. The vaccine of smallpox is created by vaccinia virus. You say, ma'am, why the vaccine is created from vaccinia? Why not variola only? You use variola virus only. Smallpox is caused by variola virus, na? From variola you make the vaccine. Now, variola is a deadly virus, people. At that time in 1980, before 1980, when the vaccine was manufactured or discovered, this vaccine, at that time we don't have PPE kit and all this thing, you know, how to isolate and all these things. It was not much developed at that time. And nowadays, you know what is PPE kit, what is isolation room and all that. But at the time we were variola virus is a deadly virus. Imagine the people who are in the factory who are manufacturing the vaccine. So why are manufacturing the vaccine? What if they have inhaled the virus? They will have smallpox and they will die. So who will manufacture the vaccine? None of them will manufacture the vaccine. They will say, no, I will have the smallpox disease. I will die. Why I will manufacture the vaccine? So no one will manufacture the vaccine. It was a very deadly virus. So what we have thought, the scientists have thought, we will convert variola virus, which is a very deadly virus. It's a very deadly, dangerous virus. We will change one antigen in this virus. We will just change one antigen and it become non-pathogenic and it converted to vaccinia virus. Okay, vaccinia virus. So variola virus and vaccinia virus are same. Okay, only one antigen change. Lekin because of this change of one antigen, this was a pathogenic virus. It caused the disease. this become non-pathogenic. Now it's safe to work. It's safe to work. Even if the person is inhaling it, person don't have smallpox. And using this, we have made the vaccine for the smallpox. And that's why it's known as vaccinia. How many of you got it? So this vaccine is prepared from vaccinia virus. Okay, it is similar to variola virus. It differs only in single antigen. In single antigen. It's not a natural virus, it's an artificial virus. It is used for making smallpox vaccination via genetic recombination. We have made this virus and it is safer to work. Why we have made this? It is safer to work. So vaccinia virus, it's the artificial virus which is synthesized from variola to make the vaccine for smallpox. That is about the vaccinia. Okay, so this is the natural virus, this is the artificial virus. This is variola, this is vaccinia. Okay, so ma'am, how to differentiate? If I am having two test tube, okay, suppose one of them is having variola, one of them is vaccinia. How shall I know which one is that? Now you have read microbiology. I'm not going in detail. Egg inoculation. You know egg inoculation. Egg is having 4 layers. You know the outermost layer is CAM, chorioamniotic membrane. Okay, so you just inoculate in the outermost membrane. You just inoculate in the outermost membrane. Okay, so here pox will be formed. Here pox will be formed. You hatch the egg. You hatch both the egg. I hope you are understanding what I'm talking. You hatch the egg, take the membrane, and look for the pox. So here you will get small uniform pox in variola. In vaccinia, large irregular pox. Okay. Here small pox are there. Here large pox are there. That is one way of differentiating them. And the second way of differentiating them is their inclusion body. Here inclusion body in variola is Paschen body. In vaccinia, the inclusion body is Guinneri body. You get MCQ on that. People, inclusion bodies are different. This is natural virus. Inclusion body is Paschen. This is artificial virus used for vaccination of smallpox. The inclusion body is Guinneri. See, ma'am, how to learn that? You may be cribbing now. I will give you a clue. I will give a mnemonic to learn. The mnemonic is Gauri had a vaccine. Gauri is a girl who had a vaccine. So you learn कि गुन्नेरी यानी गौरी, गुन्नेरी वैक्सीनिया में होता है. वैक्सीनिया में क्या होता है? गुन्नेरी. So I'm having a mnemonic to learn. Gauri had a vaccine. I mean vaccinia में गुन्नेरी है. So obviously variola में Paschen. This is how I learn and I never forget. How many of you got it, people? I'm done with the first one. Kindly help me to go on the second one. This is how we are going to complete 50. The time I took for one, the same time I require for the remaining 49. One is done, 49 more to go. Make a countdown. It's a big chapter, communicable disease. And that's why you people are afraid of that. But you know, it's very easy. It's halwa. It's very easy. The only thing you should know the approach. How to learn it. How to compact it. Say, we are done with the first one. You people don't respond. Say, people say. We are done with the first one. Can we revise the first one? Let's revise the first one. Smallpox. Introduction may say it is caused by a variola virus. Variola virus. Okay. Morphology may say it's a DNA virus. Okay. It's a DNA virus and it is the largest virus. It belongs to pox viridae. It is having dumbbell shape, core, and all the things you know about that. Okay, classification में you write down the complete classification, but only 3 are important: variola, vaccinia, molluscum contagiosum. Transmission में obviously respiratory route. Okay, I am teaching you all these are respiratory route only. So transmission तो सब में respiratory आएगा. ठीक है? Pathogenesis में you know the flow chart. How the virus enters via respiratory route. It goes to the lung, it goes to the blood, causes viremia, then goes to the skin, causes dermal pox, then causes internal pox. So you draw the flow chart. Complete flow chart in pathogenesis. Clinical features may write down 2 stages. Okay, the name of the disease is smallpox. Write down 2 stages. First flu-like stage, then rash. Rash may differentiate it from the chickenpox. Smallpox, chickenpox. You know how to differentiate the rash. One is centripetal, one is centrifugal, one is superficial, one is deep, you know, one is multiloculated, one is unilateral. This is how you have to differentiate it. Lab diagnosis, although not important, but you know the 3 ways. Treatment not available, supportive. Prevention may vaccine you have to mention. And from where we got the vaccine? From vaccinia virus. So you have to mention like that. This is how you can revise. Everyone got it? Got it? Can we go ahead? Yes? Okay. Yes, absolutely right, Vivek. Yes.